Welcome to today's edition of Culinary Curiosity. I'm Chef Duane Thompson. I'm happy that you are joining me today. And the latest thing I'd like to share is how to make candied lemon peel. So recently I was juicing a lot of lemons, and instead of throwing those out, I wanted to use them in the kitchen. And one of the things we really like to do is to make candied lemon peel out of them for various desserts or just as a nice treat. So today I want to explore how to do that and show you the step-by-step method. So I have a lot of lemon halves that I put through my juicer, and some of them have all of the insides taken out nicely, but some other ones have a little bit of the membrane that's inside. So you're gonna have to, if you have lemons like this, you're gonna have to take a spoon and come in here and just scrape these edges out until you get all of this membrane out, which isn't going to be something that you want for the process. So I'm just simply using a little bit of elbow grease, pulling it out, and you can watch while I do this. And I'm going to repeat this process on all the rest of the lemon halves I have. So here's the remaining membrane that we have out of the 7 lemons or 14 lemon halves that we've cleaned out. And we're going to go ahead and put this in the compost because we have a garden and it's a great use for anything like this. If you don't compost, then I would suggest maybe instead of throwing it away, putting it down the garbage disposal. It'll always make it smell nice. So we have these lemon halves here. And what I'm wanting to do is just start getting some strips out of them. I don't think you have to worry too much about the beauty of them. You will want some long ones, so I just cut this half in half, and I'm coming in here making some longer cuts. Putting it in the pot and continuing on. Boy, it smells good in here. I'll continue cutting the rest of it. So I have cut all of the lemons and got some nice rinds out of them, really nice and thick. These are going to be beautiful. So at this point, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to cover them with water and do an initial cooking that's going to soften them. Now this is about 1.5 quarts, but really the importance is most of these are covered, and really all of these, once I settle them in, are perfectly fine. So I'm gonna put this over a medium heat and start cooking until they become tender and slightly translucent. And really where you're gonna see the translucency is more in this white area than you will the yellow rind. So we'll start that and we'll come back and look at them when they're at that tender stage. So the lemon peel has been simmering in this water for about 15 minutes, and some of the peel is getting translucent and soft, but some is still a little bit hard, and that just has to deal with the thickness or the length of the lemon peel. But it should just take a few more minutes and then we'll go to the next step. So it's been about 18 minutes in total, and it looks like that all of this lemon rind is perfectly ready. So I'm going to go ahead and gently take this out. trying my best not to get anything broken. I want to try to make all of this as nice to use as possible. And so the next step is to not keep this water that we're using. This water is now very bitter, so what we want to do is throw it out and then bring some fresh water. We'll show you that next. So now that I've drained the water that we first boiled the lemon peel in, I'm adding 2 cups of granulated sugar to this pot, along with 1 quart of fresh water. And I'm going to bring that up to the boil, and just as soon as this sugar has melted, then I'm going to be adding the lemon peel back. The sugar now is completely dissolved, and I'm going to add back the lemon peel to this. Now, as a side note and a little bit of a point that I think is very helpful is that you don't want to boil this at a really high temperature. I think high to medium high is right at the spot, but don't go to where it's just really progressively boiling and the water starts evaporating too much. Our point isn't really to boil it. Our point is to get the sugar embedded into this peel. So a medium-high heat is probably the best temperature. And if you see that the syrup is getting too thick, you can add back a little bit of water. Our project here is to really get this lemon peel candied. And if you boil it down too quickly, you're gonna have a really thick syrup, and you're gonna make these quite hard. So let's bring this back up to a boil, then reduce the heat to a medium-high, and we'll check back with you so you can see how this peel is really starting to get candied. And these have been cooking for about 30 minutes, and it is becoming translucent. So these are nicely cooked. They haven't fallen apart. They still have the integrity. And at this point, I'm gonna let these cool just a little bit. Maybe let them just set in this syrup for about 15 or so minutes. Then I'm gonna transfer it to this wire rack. Now that the candied lemon rinds have had plenty of time to cool, you just want to get them nicely coated in some sugar. And this just kind of gilds the lily a little bit. This makes it a little bit crisper after they've really dried. It adds a nice extra bit of sweetness to it. It's really a wonderful addition. Now you might be thinking, what are the uses that we can do with this? Well, obviously baking comes to mind. I think easily putting them on top of cupcakes or maybe even a lemon cake. The syrup that we have here is definitely something that you don't want to throw away. We ended up having 1 quart of this lemon flavored syrup left over, and it is really going to be put to use in the kitchen. You can put this in hot teas and iced teas, and even into hotter iced coffees. Matter of fact, if you like iced coffee, I would suggest you using an African originated coffee, maybe a Ethiopian, Sidamo or Yirgacheffe, or even a Kenyan. Now, the African coffees are nice and bright and have lemony notes to them anyway. And if this is something you've never experienced, you can trust me on this. It really does taste nicely, and it's a nice little addition when you're sitting and drinking coffee inside or out, if weather is really nice. Now, I would also say that this syrup can be poured on top of a pound cake. When the seasons start getting a little bit warmer and you can get strawberry shortcake, a little bit of this put onto the pound cake would make a really nice different addition. And then the ultimate is just to enjoy them as they are. These really are a nice little treat. You don't have to eat a lot of them. I think you probably will. But it's a wonderful treat for yourself, for guests that come over. Just a nice little ending to a great day. And you're worth it. I truly hope you've enjoyed today's journey and that you'll try this recipe. You don't have to use as many as 8 lemons as I did. You can cut this down a bit. But you know, these do stay for quite a long time. You could even freeze them if you wanted to. This is great for holiday baking as well. So as summer goes on and Thanksgiving and Christmas begin to come into sight, this is also a great addition for that season. But I could see this just as easily on a spring table or a summer picnic. And I hope you've enjoyed it.